Welcome back to Arc Tutorials. This is React.js full tutorial series for absolute beginners. In the previous episode, we have learned all about the props before that as well. Today we are learning a very important topic which is called conditional rendering. Oftentimes when you're working on a complex real-time project, you will have this conditions where you might want to show certain template or the markup or the component based on certain conditions, right? A classic example could be if the user is logged in, show him certain data. If the user is admin, show him certain component, right? So these are some of the commonly used conditions. So basically the point is based on certain conditions or criteria, we will be able to show certain template or component. That's what we call it as conditional rendering in React. Let's get started. First, we'll go over few basic bullet list and then we start the hands-on coding. This is part 17 of the series. Make sure that you have gone through the first 16 parts. I'm covering everything from basic to advanced in order to help you learn and master React with me. Alright, so talking about conditional rendering, like I said, conditional rendering refers to the practice of displaying different content or components based on certain conditions in our React application. These are called dynamic user interfaces because they adapt and show different content based on the state of your application. If you are very well versed with the JavaScript expressions or logical operators, those are commonly used as part of conditional rendering. Also, if you are coming from a programming background, you might be very well aware of if statements, right? So we can use a ternary operator or a if statement in order to show or hide the template or the components. Finally, we can also use the logical AND operator to kind of render based on a certain condition. Okay. Last, we can return null if a component doesn't want to render anything if the condition is not met. Right, so these are all the different basic things about conditional rendering, but I'm going to show you all of this in hands-on. So let's get started. Do hit that like button for me. All right, take a look at this. This is what we did in the last two episodes. We created a component, child component called bank, and we were passing some of the props to it, right? Now take a look at this. I'm passing a prop whose value is true here, and for this I'm passing active equal to false. And this is how it looks in the application right now. Now what I want is if the active is true, we should show it. If the active is false, we should not show it. Right? Simple. That's a condition that we are saying. That means based on a condition we are saying if it is true, show it. If it is false, don't show it. Right? So let's go ahead in the child. In the return, what we will write? First, we will wrap it up because we are going to do that activity. So always wrap it up so that you have a root element. Then we are going to add a condition. We are going to say props dot our prop name is active. If prop, right, then what needs to be done? Open the bracket and close it here because you are saying this is one condition and then this is where the second condition will start, and in this we will copy it again, we'll paste it. Okay, so now we need to close this curly brace here. See, now the template is correctly closing, right? So I'm going to move it just here. So you see this open curly brace, close curly brace, and here I have the props dot active. If it is active, if the prop is present, show this. If not, show this, right? So what I'm going to do is make it loans. If it is active, we will show banks. If it is not active, we will show the loans, right? Now let's go to application. Right now it will show both banks. Why? Because that prop is present. We need to check for the value. So we will do if props.active is equal to true. That means if the value is true, then we will be showcasing banks, else we'll be showing loans. So you can see here now they both are showing loans. Why? You can see here because it's not a boolean value, right? It's a if it's 0 or 1 it would become boolean, otherwise for JavaScript this is a string. So that's why, so if you put it like this, now let's go and see, here it is showing showcasing loans, and here it is saying showcasing banks, right? So if the condition is true it will show banks, if the condition is false it will show loans. So this is one way of handling thing, right? This is one way, which is conditional operator or ternary operator, what we call it, or you can do something like this. So ternary operator, right? So the way it works is something like this. You have the condition, question mark, what should happen, result, else condition, right? So that's the format of writing the code. So take a look at it again here. I will write the condition, which is this question mark, then in the bracket I am writing what should happen, output, right? What is the expected output, else condition goes inside this. So this is exactly how your syntax should look like. Okay, so this is the else part, this is the expected output when this condition is met. This is one output, this is one example. Okay, now let me show you other example. Now let's say we just want to say, here I'll say is admin, right? I'm passing one more prop and I'm saying is admin true. The way we can also do that is something like this. If props dot say is admin, right, then directly show the template. You are passing admin value to back. Okay, so this is another way. That means if this is true and show this value, right? That's another way of writing. See here, you're passing admin value to bank. Now it doesn't matter whether you're passing true or false here. See, I refresh, it doesn't matter. It is just checking that if the prop is present or not. Okay, there is alternate way also of how we can write it. If let's say copy this, I'll say negation, right? You're not see you're not passing admin value to bank. So the first one I'm not passing here. I'm not passing admin, right? So this is another way to check if prop is present, show this. If prop is not present, do this. This is another way to add conditional operator. All right. Then let me see if I can think of a third way to show you. Again, it's more or less like a conditional statement only. Let's see if I can throw in a if condition for you. Right. So I can say if props dot is admin, right? What we can do is instead of this we can directly go and write it here and say props dot is admin, or I can something, we can put the condition outside also and say if props dot is admin, right? You can set a variable here and do that action. Let's say const um, highlight color, right? If props is admin, then highlight color equal to blue, right? So you can put this also and use this value here, and you can add stuff like uh, say some background color you want to highlight, or for now I'll just throw in a paragraph and say uh, highlighted color is okay. So if you go back, it says assignment to const variable, my bad, Okay, so highlight color is red. Okay, because now it's saying if props dot is admin, but if you see here, highlighted color is blue. Okay, so this is another way you can use conditional rendering. So there are different ways of how you can use. There is no right or wrong. I have showed you different combinations here. You can use a if else inside the method and inside the function component and do operations on it. Second, base, you can use that value as it is. Second, you can use it along with the prop value, like something like this, and show the template. Third, you can also use a trigger like this and say check the ternary operator. Right, now I'll throw in one more example for you before I leave you. Say I have one child component. Right, so this is a child component written out. This is the admin component. Okay, so let's say I have a admin component. Okay, now I can use it, and here I can always say props dot active equal to true. If it is true, then load the admin component, else null. That means, now look, take a look example that null. That means if it is not there, it will not even show anything. Okay, so now take a look. If if active is true, then show admin component, else don't show anything at all. Now look, let's go back. Now you can see here, this is a admin component. It's only coming from the second one. Okay, because only we are passing active equal to true. Right, so if it is true, it is showing the admin component here. If it is not, it is just showing null. So that's how you can include certain, either you can include one single line of template, you can use multiple lines of template, or you can use an entire component in this. Okay, now I've shown you all the variations that are possible with respect to conditional rendering. I hope now you will be able to render your code and kind of, write those conditional statements in React easily. Do practice this well. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to help you. Thank you so much for joining in this episode. In the next episode, we will learn about pure and impure components. Again, yet another, all these topics are extremely important. So another 4 or 5 topics we'll do little bit of theory, and then I'll start putting together an entire application. That is this application. I'll start coding in detail. That would be fun. So join me and we'll complete this series. Right? There's still a lot more to learn in React, so don't think I'm ending the series. There is a lot of work to learn. There's a lot of things to implement. Thank you so much for joining. See you in the next episode.